I'm Sirena Thomas, and I am your facilitator for today. If you don't know this already, I am passionate about government contracting, specifically federal contracting. And I've been talking about this kind of stuff for like 10 years plus, probably 15 years, when I first kind of got introduced to government contracting and how transformational doing business with the federal government can be for your small business. And so we are on a mission to teach 500,000 small businesses how to succeed in the federal marketplace without writing proposals, okay? So we focused on simplified acquisitions, and one of those ways that you can succeed in the federal marketplace without writing proposals is through a system called Dibbs. And that's what we are doing for these next, well, for 3 days this week. We've been doing what we call Dibbs Daily, okay? And that is our opportunity to share the DLA Internet Bid Board system. And I'm gonna applaud you right here, right now, for taking the time to even educate yourself about this particular system. Unfortunately, PTAC and SBA and some of the other guys don't teach on this, and that's okay, because I'm here and I'm gonna do it. Okay, so the Dibbs, what is Dibbs? So Dibbs is the actual system that the DLA uses. It's a web-based application, very important, meaning I don't have to print out a bunch of paperwork. I don't have to write a proposal. I do not attach anything to my quote. It's web-based, okay? So everything is on this web-based system. The solicitation, the history, the information you need, and the quote screen, all on the one system, okay? And so that's where we're gonna spend our time today. My 5 favorite features are here. These are the things that we discussed during these 3 days, right? So yesterday we went over, we touched on T quotes and automated quotes. We'll talk about that a little bit again. We looked at the volume of opportunities, the fact that you only have to submit pricing on one page. I just love that. The procurement history is right in the solicitation. We saw that yesterday. There's no technical proposals required on the RFQ side of Dibbs. Okay, so those are a couple of the favorite features, and those are the things that we do. We will see again today, along with going through like the transactional part. Okay, working with an OEM. Dibbs is not an Amazon dropship situation. This is really, really important for you to know, because there's a lot of information out there about, oh, I can just be a middleman for the government and I can just order some stuff and drop ship it and, you know, mark it up and collect my payment. No, okay, that's not what this is. That it's not like dropship, okay? Dibbs is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There is nothing in the federal government that is get-rich-quick. There's just nothing. There are things like an easier point of entry, low-hanging fruit, you know, different transactions that don't require proposals. There are those types of things, but there's nothing get-rich-quick. Okay, you're gonna have to work your business like a whole real business owner. Dibbs is not Unison Global. It's not a Unison Global type of system. If you're not familiar with Unison Global, it's actually one of my favorites too. I love that system. I've won opportunities on there. My students have as well. And so I love it. But this is not. Dibbs and Unison Global are 2 totally different types of systems. Unison Global is more like the government's eBay system. They'll tell you, you know, here's what we need and you have 7 hours to deliver it. That's not what Dibbs is, okay? Dibbs is a great option for existing or new suppliers, distributors, and wholesalers. And so if you have access to the OEM's product, you will do well in Dibbs. What did I just say? If you have access to the OEM, who's the OEM? OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer, okay? So Boeing is an OEM. Lockheed is an OEM. Fisher Scientific, right? GE, Medtronics, Medline, Grainger, Caterpillar, like these are all OEMs, right? Now, in your commercial business, you may have or utilize relationships with OEMs. And this is what I try to get you to understand, all right? So this is just what brain, this is one of those mindset things here. In your commercial business, you may, let's say if you're in construction, okay? You are already working with suppliers to do the construction service, right? If you're working with suppliers to do your construction service, meaning you're ordering whatever sheetrock or you're ordering knobs and parts and pieces and things, right? You're using machinery. You have an account with Caterpillar and you order, you know, I don't know, you get Bobcats, whatever you get from Caterpillar. Well, Caterpillar and Bobcat, I think, are two different companies, but you get the point. You get you get the machines to do the work. Well, what I'm telling you is, have you ever considered leveraging those relationships? And even when you can't do the service, you can supply the product. Like, have you ever thought about that as another avenue for revenue for your company? That's the kind of stuff I want you to start thinking about. Okay, because if I have that Caterpillar account and I know that I can find Caterpillar's cage code, I can find some opportunities in Dibbs, and I can leverage that relationship. Okay, so I'm just planting a seed, just trying to get you to think a little differently. Okay, let's keep going. Dibbs is a great source for small businesses looking to build an organization. And most importantly, support our warfighters, right? Dibbs is a great system for those who are interested in that WFA life, that work from anywhere. Now, for the sales end of Dibbs, like being able to put in quotes and actually, you know, quote items on, you know, supply to the DLA. The quoting part is web-based, so you can be quoting from Hawaii, right? Now, when the parts get shipped to you, when the items get shipped to you, they obviously need to be shipped to a location, and that's why we're going to talk about the whole transaction. Okay, so I've given you a lot. We're going to take a closer look. We're going to jump into Dibbs. I'm going to check the chat real quick just to make sure everybody is still with me and you guys are following. So are you following? Okay, I need you to participate in the chat. So I am going to commit my hour, and hopefully you are committing your time too, and you don't have me playing in the background like background music. Okay, so let me hear what you're saying in the chat. Are you following me? Is this helpful so far? Okay. Yes, following. Thank you. Yes, that just helps me to know that you are with me. Awesome. Thank you. Hello, Prasad. How are you, sir? Hey, Noura. Okay. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go into Dibbs. Again, if you have questions, I want you to put it in the Q&A. If you're in Zoom, if you are joining us online, which we have some folks that are joining us live, you can go ahead and just type it in the chat. And we have someone that can see those questions as well, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take a closer look. All right. So give me a second. And I want to pull up, I'm going to have to stop sharing for just a sec so that I can pull up Dibbs. And so when we do these, I like to do these live and give you like actual, you know, this is what's happening today. I've been on plenty of webinars similar to this, and some were extremely helpful, some were not helpful at all. So this journey through Dibbs, real quick before I go into Dibbs, this is a free graphic. We actually provide you this in the course. So let me say a couple things real quick. One, I teach this, okay? So we have a whole self-paced course on Dibbs. Everything that I've done, all the like the transactions, my award history. I mean, I go through it all. How to communicate with the buyer, what to do post-award, like all the stuff, right? That I cannot do in 3 days and for free. Let's just be honest, okay? So this right here is one of the things that is in the course. And if you're interested in getting this, then make sure you're here tomorrow, okay? A journey through Dibbs is what it's called, and I kind of just break out what the steps are. So understanding DLA, the first goal is to understand what they're doing, right? What does the DLA need? You identify their needs. When it comes to supplying product to the government, and I try to make this distinction all the time, you don't have to sell the DLA on your thing, right? You don't have to say, hey, I got this widget, come buy my thing. I'm talking about supplying, not selling. The DLA already knows what they want. They know how many they want. They know when they want it. They know the specifications. They know the original manufacturer. They just are looking for you to supply what they've already asked for. So this is not the place that you come and try to sell your widget. Okay, you understand that? And so understanding what they need is going to be extremely important, and that's what we're going to do today. Look at what some of the things that they need, and we'll do that by FSC, cage, part number, whatever, cage, date. We'll do that in just a second. Leveraging relationships. That's what I was talking about those of you that supply service. What supplier relationships can you leverage? Okay, I teach you how to do that in the course as well. Requesting pricing. Okay, so how do I get pricing for these from these OEMs, right? So how do I get pricing so that I can negotiate and mark it up and supply it? How do I get catalog access? And that's going to be important, right? Quoting and winning. So now that I have pricing, how do I determine my best price and quote and put a quote in, right? And then obviously supply it to the government. So now what happens post-award? What happens when I win? What's the process after that? Like, how do I get the material to the depot properly? Because the other thing is the depot will not receive your product if it's not done properly, okay? How does the receiving and shipping go? So how do I receive from the OEM and then ship it back out? What does that process look like? And then of course the getting paid, right? You need to know how to utilize wide area workflow if you've never used it before, okay? So this is kind of like the journey through all the things that you need to consider. This is why it's not drop ship and easy quick. This takes some work, but it is well worth it work. Okay, it's well worth it work if you have the right relationships and can build them. Someone asked, would this system work for someone who organize events and offer a concierge service? This particular system, no. Not this particular system, not Dibbs. But Dibbs is only one of the ways that I teach you how to do business without writing proposals. When we get into when you get into the Mission 500K community, I teach multiple ways to win without writing proposals, right? So purchase cards and micro purchases and different things like that. And so Dibbs is just one of those ways, okay? Dibbs is just one of those ways. So you, who asked the question, who are you? Johnny, thanks for that question. You would benefit from some of the other things we teach in the Mission 500K for that service, okay? So here we are in Dibbs, and I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Okay, make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Hopefully,
Sirena, real quick, there's a question that popped up. Can I ask it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Does your course have resources for purchase order factoring? Like, how can we fund our purchase until we're paid by the government?
Yes. Yes, we do. We have a whole module on factoring. We had actually a guest that came in and spoke. We talked about the specific cards that you can qualify for as a small business right away. We talk about different banking relationships. Yes, so we do definitely cover that. We do cover that. And we talk about, how to negotiate terms. Now, because we're in COVID, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because of COVID, things have changed a lot with the supply chain. So you have suppliers now that are requiring 50% up front, or sometimes even 100% up front. We have always worked on term relationships, like net 30, even net 45. And so in Dibbs, for example, okay, let me go through the transaction. That's what I need to do. Okay, let me just go through a transaction. How do I want to do this? Okay, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you for a second, and then I'm going to go back to Dibbs. That's what I'm going to do. So here, I gotta talk because I need to use my hands, and I wish I could use my board, but I don't have it close enough to me. So just listen real carefully to me, okay? This is the way that our relationship works. So in supplying Boeing aircraft parts, the first thing that we had to do was develop a relationship with the OEM. And when I say develop a relationship with them, we needed to get catalog access. Like, we needed to get access to their parts. And so your OEM may not be Boeing. Maybe it's Lockheed or Fisher or someone else, Medtronics or whoever. So the first thing you need is access to their catalog of parts, right? So that's what we had. And we negotiated a simple agreement, not a long contract, not a simple agreement that authorized us to be able to purchase from the OEM, right? So when small businesses typically think about doing business with larger companies, you usually think about the big company being here and then you being here, right? So we usually are at the big company filling out paperwork to be part of their supplier diversity channel or whatever, right? That's usually what you think about. And then you come here and this company, the big company, buys from you, the small company, right? That's the typical big small kind of relationship. What I'm telling you is, we as the small company made the big company we did like this. So instead of the big company being up here and us down here, y'all see me? I'm using my hands because I can't find my chart. Ourselves, small company, big company is here, and now our small company gets authority to order from the big company so that we can supply to the bigger company, okay? Which is the federal government. So the federal government is here, we are here, and the big company is here. I need access to your stuff so that I can supply to the bigger company. Now, I'm sure you've never been on a webinar where you saw somebody illustrated with their hands, but hopefully you got that, right? So we negotiated this opportunity, right, to be able to order from them. Once we get access, now we go in and we say, okay, we know the DLA is issuing hundreds, thousands per day, thousands of solicitations. How do we take what we have access to from this big company and match it to what the DLA needs? Okay, so the DLA is telling us every day, here's what we need, here's what we need, here's what we need. And I'm saying, well, I have access to this. Now, how do I bring these together, cross-reference, and based on what you need, this is what I have access to. And I'm gonna go back to Dibbs and I will show you. So let's say they said I need, these 5,000 different solicitations are out today for Boeing aircraft parts. Well, of those 5,000 solicitations, I have access to probably maybe, a couple hundred of those parts, okay? Out of the thousands, I have access to like a couple hundred. So when I do the cross-reference, I'm seeing, okay, boom, they need this, we have this, they need this, we can get this, we can get this, we can get this. And then I'm taking that price and I'm marking it up, right, to account for all of my administrative costs, my profit, my overhead, all the things. And I'm also using history to determine where my price needs to be. I'm submitting a quote. When I win, I need to order now from the big company. So because I have authority, right? They gave me access so I can order from the OEM. I got to order from them. I submit a PO to them. They send me parts, right? When I get parts, I have 30 days to pay the big company because we negotiated net 30. I have 30 days to pay the big company after they've sent me the parts. Okay, you guys still with me? And then once I get those parts, I read my specifications on my award document, and now I have to package those parts. Sometimes it's repackaging the parts, right? So for example, the government may say, okay, we want 100 of these widgets, but we need them bagged in poly bags, 5 per bag. Okay, we don't want you to just send us a box of 100. We need you to box them in one box in a poly bag, 5 per bag. Well, that just requires that I have an account with Uline and get the supplies and do the thing and repackage them. But then I have to put labels on each one of these poly bags, right? And I have to package it and ship it according to what the award document says. Then we ship that thing to the depot. Shipping happens a bunch of different ways. I go through it more in the course, and we'll talk about it a little bit today. We ship it to the depot. The depot receives it, right? And they scan the little RFID tag. And then the depot says, oh, okay, we received it. Everything is in good order. You can bill us. We go into wide area workflow. We bill the government. We receive our payment. And so imagine that happening all day long, all the time, every day. That's what I did. Okay? I hope that that is a good illustration with my hands and my antics.
So was that awesome or what? I mean, I do believe that there were some nuggets in there for you, and I would love to know what your greatest takeaway from today's video was. So go into the comments and just let me know one takeaway from today's video, okay? And then also check the description box because we have some goodies there for you, some things to help you learn more about doing business with the government without writing proposals. That's in the description box, okay? And then lastly, like and hit that notification bell so that you'll know, be the first to know when we drop a new video, okay? I believe you're already subscribed, so that's a good start too. All right, so thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, let's go get it.